Well, Jake, it's been a couple of weeks since we've met, and it's been the break. You had the 2 week break, and you played Carshalton. What's happened during that time? I think in the end, you wish you didn't have the break.
Yeah, I mean, on hindsight, the way the Carshalton game went, yeah, I'd agree with that. But obviously, at the time, we were struggling with quite a few knocks, so I felt, it would be a good idea to have the break to rest up the boys. No major injuries, but a few tweaks. Which, to be fair, they've all settled down, and everyone's back in full training. So yeah, it was a little bit of a catch-22. Obviously, we had the Dartford game, and we had a great night after that. Then I gave the boys a bit of time off because it's obviously been a very busy schedule. But we were a little bit flat going into the Carshalton game. But thankfully, come away with a point at the end of it.
Yeah, it's great, and it's good to see the team bonding really well. I understand a few of the lads actually went on a very quick getaway off to Spain or Portugal or somewhere like that. Got a bit of sunshine for a day or two. So that's nice to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, really nice. It surprised me, to be honest, because, you think that, they've only met each other start of pre-season. So, they haven't been, teammates or friends for that long. But, like I've said previously, as a team and as a squad, the boys have really hit it off. Obviously, it helps that, a lot of the boys are the same age and have got the same interests. So, yeah, that was really surprising but really pleasing. And I think that's going to help moving forward.
Now, the Carshalton game, it was looking close there. It was looking like maybe the second defeat of the season, but the lads somehow dug in and just got a result. I think you gambled a little bit at the end, didn't you? And it just got across the line to get a point.
Yeah, it was, our first experience, really, of a frustrating game. We didn't really impose ourselves on them. That they dictated the game. And to be fair, they've done very well. Although their points tally doesn't sort of match up. You're speaking to them afterwards and all that. They've had some good performances. They haven't scored a lot of goals, but they also haven't conceded a lot of goals. And it was a really difficult day.
How are you finding this league now? We were a few more games in. We did say, didn't we, we'd start to get a feel of it after 6-7 games. We're around about that now. Obviously, still very early. It's just a form table at the moment, isn't it, really? But what do you think of the standard? Has it surprised you?
No, I wouldn't say it surprised me. I think any team can beat any team. I think that's shown at the weekend with obviously Bowes and Pitsea picking up a result at Dartford. And this is going to happen. That's why it's so important that when we're not at our best, we can still pick up points.
So tell us about the performance in general, and obviously Baptiste scored again, so it's good to see him get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we struggled for large periods of the game. Carshalton play a brand of football where they keep the ball a lot, and we couldn't sort of implement our game of the high press, and they played round us quite a few times and caused us lots of problems. But like we say to the boys, that if you stay in games, anything can happen late on. We can take a few gambles and grab something out the game. Obviously, not ideal. We want to be on the front foot, which generally we have been this season, but that's not always the case in every game you go into. So we managed to stay in the game. I mean, they didn't have loads and loads of chances, but nor did we. Where obviously this season we've scored the most amount of goals and we have been creating a lot of chances, but it wasn't to be Saturday. But we stayed in the game, so it enabled us to make a little bit of a gamble late on. We actually took both centre halves off, which is not something I've ever done before. I just felt, we needed to do something because obviously the game was running out and it didn't look like we were going to score. And Big Ennie made a big difference. I was really pleased for him. He obviously he'd been out the week before with a bit of a groin strain he picked up, but he come back in and come on and made a difference. Obviously, he's an imposing figure coming on the pitch, and it's going to put fear into defenders' eyes. And then we went 1v1 at the back. Which allowed a bit of space for Baptiste to score, an unbelievable overhead kick, which I was really pleased it was him, to be honest, because, like I've said, he's been a breath of fresh air. Really, he's been, really, really good on and off the pitch. He's a big character in the dressing room. He organises all the fines and, obviously works with Mike, so he's probably sees the other side of it as well. So really pleased for him to grab a point and sort of keep us undefeated once we've had 11 men on the pitch in the league.
Now, you mentioned fines there. All clubs have that sort of policy. So what kind of indiscretions rack up fines at Dover Athletic?
Oh, I think here it's pretty much everything. I think everyone gets fined. Obviously, it's all going to go to a good cause for, I believe, the Christmas fund for a night out or something like that. So yeah, they call him Bailiff Baps. He's right on it. I think a few of the boys are already fed up with him, but he won't let them off. So he'll claw the money in I'm sure, to have a good night.
Yeah, but again, that's just great, isn't it? It's just building up that team spirit, the banter and the rapport.
Yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. I think obviously it's the same in any walk of life. There's some people that will always be the same. The boys that are late are always late. They've probably always been late, and other things that go on. But yeah, it's all good for spirit.
Now, Jake, we all want to know: have you fallen foul of Bailiff Baps yet?
No, he wouldn't cross me. I don't think. Yeah, no, he wouldn't cross me. So luckily, the staff aren't involved with all that.
Yeah, well, you do pick the team on a Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Wingate and Finchley next. It's the start of 3 home games. It must be nice to get some games here at Crabble. And the chairman, he's been in the local press over the last week, talking about his ambition to try and get 1,000 crowds for those games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had discussions when we come back. That was always the aim. We've had unbelievable crowd with the Folkestone game, obviously, and then obviously a big crowd for the Dartford. And we're not going to be able to do it, without the fans. For several reasons. Obviously, more fans through the gate obviously is going to help out financially, but more importantly to me as a football man is the atmosphere that it creates to really help push the boys on. So yeah, again, I mean, I've been here many years and always been a part of big crowds. Obviously over the years, the last couple of years with everything, the way the club's gone, obviously been suffering on the pitch, and obviously the climatic change, it's difficult for fans to find the money to come. But I'd like to think now with the team we got, not only they're scoring a lot of goals, there's maximum effort, they're a young bunch, and it would be really good for everyone involved if we can get them crowds back up, and if we can hit 1,000 next couple of games, that's going to help everyone.
Yeah, because some clubs around us are sort of getting towards that. Folkestone, I know I'm not allowed to mention that, but Folkestone Invicta, they got nearly 1,000 for their last game, and this club's got the capability of doing that. We've seen it in the past. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Kent football crowds are doing really well. The two the Fanic clubs are picking up big crowds. Deal down the road are picking up big crowds. So. Yeah, I mean, lots go into that, and obviously Vicky now in the community, and I'd like to think we're doing a lot more. There's a community game coming up, actually, the hashtag in a month's time. So, we're doing all we can, but, at the end of the day, it's if you're winning on the pitch and providing entertaining football and scoring goals, more fans are going to come, and ones that do come are going to come back.
Yeah, and the fans have been brilliant this season. We've said it a couple of times. From your own point of view, I know you had a little bit of stick after the Sittingbourne game, as did a few of the lads, but it was nice to see the fans actually they got that out of the system quite quickly, and they really did back the team in the games after that.
Yeah, difficult for the fans because I don't want to talk about the past, but it's been frustrating times, and so we sort of half expected. One bad result, they might turn a little bit funny. But interestingly enough, I thought Saturday was the poorest we've been at Carshalton, and there wasn't any negativity, which surprised me because, for the first time Saturday, I would have taken a bit of criticism because I didn't think we were at the races, and I thought individually and collectively we were off the pace. But like I say, interesting, there was no criticism. So, hopefully, what's been said and sowing the seed that, you can't be brilliant every week. You can't win every week. I'd like to think, we could give 100% effort every week. And like I say, Saturday was the first time that I would have accepted criticism, but thankfully it didn't come. So hopefully, everyone's sort of been educated to understand that, negativity, has left the building. And to create a positive environment, we need to be positive, even in tough periods.
Now, you mentioned Hashtag United. Obviously got a massive social media presence, haven't they? Very interesting club. But we're having our community day against them. Just tell us a little bit about that, what you know about the community day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about this particular one, but obviously I was a part of some big community days previously where there was, obviously all the tickets go out to the schools. I know Vicky has been out to the schools and been offering tickets. We're going to try and get the youth involved because obviously now the youth are on board. So yeah, really hoping for sort of a bumper crowd, but a bumper atmosphere. and to get the community back involved with the club a lot more than it has been a couple of years, to really help push us on, and not only that, to give them something to enjoy on a Saturday afternoon.
You mentioned Vicky. I think she's done a fantastic job actually raising the profile on the community side of things. And of course, others are working very hard behind the scene. Leanne in the office there. Obviously, Frank Clark still around, isn't there? And then, of course, you've got all the volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, without Megger, we wouldn't have Vicky. So, that's the most important thing. I know Vicky's quite stressed at the minute. She's, working all the hours under the sun and doing everything in her power. I know there's a lot of frustrations involved in the job. And it's going to take time, to sort of raise the profile again and build up the contacts to help get this club back where we belong, which is 1,000 plus a week, and a real good family feeling club where people can come and enjoy their Saturday afternoons.
I mean, one of the great things that has happened at this club over the last couple of years is Megger. They've been fantastic sponsors, haven't they? And just say, a few words about them, really. How much of a difference they make to a club like Dover Athletic.
Well, I'd dread to think where we'd be without them. I think it's that big a deal. Obviously, they're a local business, a very big business, worldwide business. I mean, I don't know Jeremy that well, but I've met him a couple of times. Fully invested in the club. And long may it continue. Like I say, without them, I dread to think where we'd be at this stage, because they've been a massive, massive help to us.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed looking at when I've arrived at Crabble is that big Dover Athletic badge on the main stand, and that's a great example, isn't it, where a couple of local businesses have got together to make that happen. Yeah,
so I know Harbour Print, the guy down there who I've been involved with a little bit in youth football. I asked him if he could help. And he kindly ended up donating the sign. And obviously we've had Challenge Scaffold who have kindly been a big sponsor recently. They put their boards up just below the main stand here, and they helped Harbour Print erect scaffold to put it up. Yeah, and I think it's a great addition. Although, the chairman, he's never quite happy. He's asked me whether I could sort a light out for him. So I'm going to ask my guys at work at EWG if they could help us out, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah, this is what it's all about at non-league, and even in the lower echelons of the football league. I cover a lot of football league and lower league football myself, and I remember Bury, of course. We all know what happened to them. They went bust, and they had to start again. And the whole community got behind it. You had the plumbers doing the boilers, electricians doing the electrics. All manner of things were being done, and that's exactly what we need here, isn't it? That sort of spirit.
Yeah, definitely. And it's come at the right time, but it's always the case. Why does it take to get to that stage for it to happen? Like Bury, it's an absolute, disaster, wasn't it, them going out the Football League? But it's taken that for really the community to rally round. So, obviously we're asking the community to get involved. We know money's tight in these times, but, we've had a real good uptake recently. I mean, that comes again with winning games on the football pitch and that good feel factor. But Harbour Print and Challenge Scaffold is a prime example, and I know we've had quite a few more involved recently, which I'm sure we'll sort of detail further once I get a few more details. And I know the chairman's working very hard on that front.
I mean, I always think when people are in adversity or clubs are in adversity, that's when you see the best of communities and clubs.
Yeah, I mean, football clubs are a big part of towns, aren't they? Huge part. I know how much I look forward to the Saturdays for the football. And I know speaking to the fans, I have quite a bit of interaction on social media, and everyone's sort of got that feel good factor back here now, and really looking towards the next fixture, home and away, by the way, because obviously away days can be very good for everyone involved as well.
Yeah, it's good going on away day. I remember when the club got relegated into the Isthmian South, the one below, the Division 1 South, and going to places like Met Police and Croydon Athletic, places that you wouldn't normally go to. So from an away experience, I know we'd rather not be in this division, but it has been actually good fun.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, obviously we'd rather not be in this division. We want to play as high as we can. We've got all the facilities, and like I've said before, we've got the pedigree and history. We know what it takes to get to these leagues. But we found ourselves here, and we've got to make the most of it. And we've got to, hopefully, which I think they have, supporters enjoy the away days as much as the home days. It's always a good day out, but getting back to the point, we really need to, make this place a fortress, really, and by getting big crowds, it is really going to help.
I was at a recent training session at New Eltham, and we were chatting there, weren't we, about the difficulty you've actually had finding pitches to train on, particularly on a Thursday night.
Yeah, we've always had the difficulties here. Obviously, when Chris was here before with myself, he had a lot of contacts. He lives North Kent, and we managed to find training venues. We've been lucky enough to be training at Elsford last season on their brand new Astro, both Tuesdays and Thursdays. But unfortunately, this season they've grown so much. Their club, some real good guys working there. They've unfortunately they took the Thursday off us because their ladies and girls teams have really developed, and so we're only there on a Tuesday. So we've been training on grass Thursdays, but obviously now we've lost the light. So yeah, it's been a struggle. We're working all we can to get something. We've got a few things in the pipeline, but yeah, it's really difficult. There's a lot goes on to, being a manager of a football club, not just on Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, how time consuming is that? Because that must take forever sometimes.
Well, like I've said before, Mike, Mike's absolutely amazing. He's full time in the academy, so Mike generally deals with a lot of that. Obviously, I'm here for sort of support and where I can. We've both got good contacts in the game. Paul Barnes is obviously involved. Lives up that way. So, but it's not just us. Trying to get a facility on a Thursday night. Every club wants one. So yeah, it's a battle.
Yeah. Ideally, you're looking to sort of train sort of further up the county, aren't you, or even South London, because obviously a lot of the players are based there. But I mean, is there scope sometimes to train nearer to home?
Well, in an ideal world, we train here, but unfortunately, it's difficult to recruit boys at this level locally to be successful. That's something that comes down personally to, I feel, to coaches locally and facilities. And obviously, lots of other clubs have a lot of league clubs around them. Our nearest league club is Gillingham. So, we don't get the boys that have been released from them to come. So, generally, and it's not just us, it's, I know all the local teams, the Thanet teams, most of their boys are North Kent, London, and me being a local boy, I'd love it if we had, a lot more local boys. Obviously, we've got Nick Hadge, Wilco's just up the road, and Henry Young's a Thanet boy. So we're trying our best on that. But so to recruit, yeah, we have to train further up. It's unrealistic for the boys to be able to travel down after work on a Tuesday, Thursday for the money they get. And not only that, travelling is very tiring. So they're travelling down Tuesday, Thursdays. Come Saturday they're going to be knackered. So. Yeah, it's always been the way. Longer term, like I say, I'd love to be the guy that could change it, but we're a long way off ever doing that. So, as things stand, I've signed a lot of the boys on the promise that we train, up that way. So obviously, I'll stick to my promise, and we'll do all we can to find facilities to train up that way. Obviously, Elsford have been very good for the Tuesdays, so the Thursdays we look to train there for them reasons.
Now, of course, the team at the moment sits second. As we said, it's just a form table at the moment. But are you sort of quietly yourself feeling like this team could achieve something special this season and sort of be in and around the playoffs at least?
It is too early to say. That's not just me saying that. I said early on, let's get to 10, 12 games and see where we are. We've done well. I think we got a little bit carried away. Obviously, coming off the first game of the 8-0, it was always easy to get carried away, especially with a young squad. We obviously got knocked back down to earth with the Folkestone result. But again, I do say if we had 11 players on the pitch, I'd like to think we could have got at least a point. And obviously the Sittingbourne disappointment. So we need to understand that it's only a start. As well as we've done, we struggled a little bit Saturday. So. Wingate are going to be a different challenge this Saturday. They've scored a lot of goals. They've let in a lot of goals. I think it's going to be a really open game of football. But they're going to be a dangerous side. Any side that scores lots of goals, the formation they play is going to be difficult to combat. We really need to get off to a good start. But if we can pick up points in these home games, then that will get us to like a quarter way through the season, 10, 12 games. And that would give us a better indication. We've obviously got a very small squad. We've got, I'd imagine, an average budget for this side. I know for a fact that lots of clubs have got, double the budget we got, and already lots of clubs are sort of changing their squads after 6 games, letting players go and recruiting more. I don't feel we're at that stage yet, and it's not something that I ideally want to do. End of the day, that we were the ones that signed these boys, and I want to give them every chance to prove their worth. There's obviously a little bit of frustration with some of the boys not getting loads of minutes, which we totally understand. We were having talks last night with a couple of the boys, but obviously, the boys that are out there at a minute are doing very well. We scored a lot of goals, so they're going to have to be patient and see where we go with that. But I think we're readdress that again after the quarter stage of the season.
And of course, not everyone gets the minutes they want, and players are developing still. And you sent a couple of lads out on loan, haven't you, Archie and Matty?
Yeah, both of them have done ever so well in training, and a little bit unfortunate really to not be in the match day squad. But obviously you can only pick 16. Archie is a special talent, someone that can make things happen. And to be fair to him, he's got an old head on young shoulders, and he come to us and said he'd like to get games, which we felt was the right move for him as well. So we've got good friends at Whitstable. Mike's very friendly with Jamie Coyle, and he's gone out there, and all reports he's done very well. So yeah, he's going to stay there for a few more games, and we'll see how that develops. And Matty Holness, we've just allowed to go to Deal, another one that wouldn't be afraid to put in the first team. If we had an injury or suspension. Obviously we trained last night, and he come and train with us because he wasn't with Deal last night in the Kent Senior Cup. He's going to play in that cup competition for us. Trained ever so well. So it's all good experience going out and get men's minutes. We had a few of the academy boys up last night training with us. And there's another batch coming through. So it's really healthy.
Of course, Premier League clubs have huge benches. They're allowed to bring on 5 players just at this level. But actually, having a couple more in the matchday squad would actually help some of these younger players at this level.
Yeah, quite possibly. Obviously, it's difficult to juggle. This is the first season where we've allowed to use 5 subs. Previously, it was 3. I think I wasn't sure at first, but I think it's actually been very, very beneficial. For everyone involved, really. At least now, if you're on the bench, you can come on. Where before it was only 3 that could come on it, and it gives us managers a little bit more option. And like Saturday just gone, we used all 5, and it really worked for us, which we wouldn't have had the option to do before. I mean, if we had another option of another couple on the bench. I'm not really sure. At least with the 5, it gives the younger boys, a chance to go on loan and get proper minutes rather than 5 or 10 minutes at the end of games. I think it'd be more beneficial for the likes of Archie and Matty to be getting 90 minutes out on loan. I'm not really sure on that.
And finally, Jay, you look like you're really enjoying yourself. Although the phone's probably going constantly, it's sounding to me like this young group of lads are really energising you.
Yeah, and obviously it was very difficult coming in last season, very difficult. But it's actually been a breath of fresh air. It really has. Yeah, I really look forward to match days, obviously, and everything that's involved with being the football manager at Dover Athletic. I'm really, really pleased of how quickly the atmosphere and the environment's changed. I thought it would have taken a little bit longer, but results count for so much, and we've been fortunate enough to score so many goals as well. So as things stand, a really, really positive environment and atmosphere to be in, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But as well as I do, football can change very quickly. And if we do go on a bad turn, it's important that we stay level-headed. We've proven that we're a good team, we're a good squad. Won't be no need to panic. It's always difficult going into the winter months. Obviously the pitches get a little bit heavier, the grass pitches. But again, in saying that, half the pitches here are Astro. So that's another challenge that I've never faced before, because obviously when I was here before, it was all grass. So that's the other thing that is a challenge. Playing on the Astro to grass is it's almost like playing a different game, which I think Saturday at Carshalton was a little bit of that involved with that.
What is it that's different?
Well, the ball bounces differently for definite. The games, the game just feels different. You know, I mean, I understand, of course, for revenue why teams, you know, go the Astro, but personally, I much prefer a game of football on the grass. I think it's a better spectacle.
Of course, I remember, as you will,
Spectacle, sorry.
But of course, when we were both younger, we remember, don't we, Oldham Athletic, Luton Town, you know, Boundary Park and Kenilworth Road, and they were plastic pitches, weren't they? And the goalkeepers had to wear trousers.
Oh yeah, the pitches have improved so much, so much. I mean, the way we train at Elsford is a brand new 4G, and it's a really good service. I mean, again, you know, the ball does still bounce. It sort of checks, spins a little bit different. But obviously, these boys, the younger boys, have you know, been brought up on it. So you know, it's the norm to them. It's only us old boys that you know, sort of struggle to get a head around it a little bit.